McDonald every 3 hours they open one new franchise in the world.
Right.
Okay. And actually, if you ask to people, to general people, no one remember who is the owner of McDonald, or
Right.
no one remember who is the chef in McDonald, right? Or who are the key
Correct.
staff running McDonald.
Right.
Okay. Because McDonald is run on processes, systems and processes, which is led on by ISO standards. Okay. So the company who has actually adopted process approach in their business, they are grown. So McDonald is one example. Since my business, I come from the concept industry.
Correct.
People actually don't know, how the standards work, and all,
Right.
right? So what happens is, uh, it actually, my business is based on word of mouth,
Right.
publicity, and the people who are referring me have actually experienced my services.
Mhm.
So they know me, because of my services, they were able to improve their bottom line and improve their top lines. So,
Right.
for example, we studied in detail and we are able to, do the cost optimization. That is number one. And second, also we have been because of process improvements, they were able to satisfy their customers and their business has grown up tremendously. So all those customers who has actually utilized my services, they were able to refer me to their contact sphere. That's how my business has grown
Okay.
till date, right?
Mhm.
And that's how the network helps for me. So what happens is when I go and talk to the audiences, because I do talk at various forums on my services, so that helps me grow my network and helps me to get more, brand ambassador for my services and all.
Business networking with Vipul Bondal. My guest today is Parag Kadam. Parag Kadam is a accomplished professional with 8 years of experience in the banking software industry, where he successfully managed the Southeast Asia business for Infoban. Leveraging his extensive knowledge and strategic expertise, he founded Credos Consultants, a management consultancy that is specializing in the implementation of ISO standards. His firm operates in India and the UAE, demonstrating his entrepreneurial spirit and commitment to helping businesses achieve operational excellence and international certification. Welcome to the podcast, Parag.
Thank you, Vipul. Thank you very much. Thanks for that nice introduction. Thank you.
So, a lot of our viewers, people who are watching this podcast may not be very familiar with ISO. I mean, ISO
Okay.
might be something that they may have heard, they may have seen, but they really don't know what it is. So, can you make it simple and explain it to us what ISO is and, the different type of ISO standards that exist?
Yeah. That's very good question because many of them doesn't know on the ISO standards.
Hmm.
So basically, uh, all the products. I'll take you to World War. So when actually World War happened, and when the economic after World War actually, so when economic activity started booming and people started exporting their products to each other countries, so there was a lot of incompatibility, and because of that, many consumers were suffering. So eventually, everyone decided to form certain standards, and 8 countries came together. And this was in the year somewhere around 1947. 8 countries coming together.
Yeah.
They form an organization known as Electronic Commission. So basically, this Electronic Commission uh, comes out with standards, and basically these are product standards.
Okay.
So all the manufacturers who are manufacturing their products has to comply with Electronic Commission standard, which is EC standards. And when you comply with their requirements, and when you apply in India, you get ISM mark. When you apply in Europe, you get CE mark, and so on and so on.
Okay.
But these 8 countries who form this Electronic Commission standards, eventually they felt that what we are doing has a limitation. So instead of focusing on product standardization, if we focus on the activity of working, it will be much more beneficial. And so these 8 countries, they form another organization known as International Organization of Standards, which is known as ISO. And
Okay.
their only aim is to formulate standards. So these all management system standards, and till date, they have come out with some 26,000 standards for various industries.
Okay. 26,000 standards, huh?
26,000 standards. And you'll be surprised, our Indian Railway is running on British standards. Our parliament is running on British standards. So it's a British standards, but ISOs are taking standards from individual countries also and converting them into ISO standards. So they recently converted HACCP standards of from Canada. Basically, these are food safety standards, and they renamed it as a ISO 22,000 standards, which is also known as Food Safety Management System Standard.
Okay. Parag, I think your video is not visible. Maybe you just might want to switch on your camera.
One second.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
it okay now, people?
Yeah, yeah, it is fine. It is okay. So, we missed a lot of the part of the earlier because only your name was showing. And
Okay,
yeah. So, ISO standards are considered as a passport, to global growth. I mean, basically the entry point to global markets.
right,
How
right.
does for a company having these standards, how does it help? I mean, you explained how ISO came about, but
Okay.
how does it help an organization to have ISO standards, and how does it help it to tap, let's say, markets outside India or outside their local country? I mean, their country of origin. How does it help?
Right. It's a very good question, Vipul. So I'll answer this way. Since it's a standardization of working activity.
Okay.
So what happens if you look into an organization typically? People come with their own experience.
Mm-hmm.
They start working with as per their experience and their knowledge.
Right.
And when people leave the organization, so what happens is we don't know what has actually happened. What he has done actually, right?
Right.
So what ISO standards wants is whatever you're doing, you first document those things. So when you document those things, we come to know exactly what is happening or what people are doing. That is number one.
Okay.
Second, when you document those things, you actually come to know what is right in my working process or what is getting wrong in my working process.
Okay.
So if things are going wrong in my working process, then what I can do is I can take certain corrective actions, come out with my some continual improvement programs, and start removing flaws from my processes. Right. So once the flaws are removed, gets the removed from my process, so it becomes very easy. So the next person who joins the organization, he can actually see what process he has to operate. Right. So that is number one.
Okay.
So what basically ISO standard has done is they have given process approach or they taught process approach how to work, right?
Okay.
And basically, if you look at the process, it's nothing but it's a set of activities.
Right.
And every activities consumes your main machine, material, and money, which
Right.
is your working capital.
Right.
So from top of it, I can come to know, what is my working capital for running all this process in my organization.
Okay.
And if
Okay.
say that activities is not performing or not giving me any value addition results, then my job is to remove those non-value addition activities from my processes. So that will ensure that whatever I'm doing or I'm spending in the right directions, which is adding value to my activities. Right. So that is one of the benefit. Second, your question,
How does it
on
help?
the
Yeah.
how does it help? So what happens is, let's say for example, I am implementing ISO standard in my organization. The same standard will also be applied to the same sector or the same industry at abroad also, right? So
Okay.
let's say company in US, let's say manufacturing company in US, let's say that's a component manufacturing, for example. So
Right.
component manufacturing company in India and component manufacturing in US, they'll be following the same set of standards given by ISO, right?
Okay.
So eventually what happens, there is a compatibility. That is number one. Second is, let's say I want to have a collaboration. Let's say US company wants to have a collaboration with an Indian company. So maybe it's not feasible for them to travel to India often. So what they will do is, if you're an ISO certified company, right? So you automatically get recognition. That means they will accept that since you are an ISO certified company and certified by a reputed certification body, so they know that you are following certain systems and standards and all the parameters are in place, right?
Okay.
So it actually builds your recognition in the market. That is number one.
Okay.
Okay. And since World Trade Organization is also part of ISO, so
Okay.
indirectly, what they are doing is they are making companies at all these World Trade Organization countries who are the members of WTO. So WTO is ensuring like ISO standards are percolated to those countries, and companies are adopting and following those standards. Okay. So when you want to export your product, so one of the criteria you should be an ISO certified company and certified by some reputed agencies. So that is an accepted criterion to this world.
Okay. So in your profession, I mean, do you actually uh, help in formulating those standards, or the standards are already set? I mean, what I want to understand is, are the standards already set, or you and let's say your client sit and set those standards for their organization?
Yeah. Okay. In our experience for last 17 years, Vipul, what we have noticed is I'll come back to manufacturing sectors and
Sure.
also I'll cover some IT industry experience also.
Sure. That'll be good.
So what happens with manufacturing sectors are people are manufacturing their product, but they are not realizing okay, what is the working capital or how much they are spending money on manufacturing activities. Okay.
Right.
Because in our experience, we have noticed okay, whenever they are manufactured their products without proper quality inspections, many products were recalled back. That is number one.
Mm.
Or during their manufacturing activities, they have reworked on various process, and the cost has doubled, or the manufacturing activities got delayed because of incompetency of staff, or non-availability of raw materials, or defect in machineries. Okay. So all these raw materials or work in progress were getting piled up in many manufacturing industries. And uh, the stakeholders were not realizing this. But
Mm.
end of the year, when they were analyzing their balance sheet and profit and loss account, they realized they have dispatched so many of products. But end of the day, they are making either wafer thin margin profit or they are actually in loss. And because of that, you can see many companies have shut down. Okay.
Okay.
So when we started implementing ISO standards, so what we did first activity was we analyzed the current processes. We did gap analysis. We found there are the defects in the process, and we tried to eliminate those defects in the process, ensuring that whatever the process has been now mapped or has been now formulated, people operate those process, produce products, and whatever they produce, products are defect free. So in
Okay.
short, we curtail those activities of producing defects and all.
Mm.
Vis-a-vis the result was very simple. The dispatch happened on time. The working capital, whatever they budgeted, they never exceeded those working capital. Customer complaint reduced a lot because there were very few product recalls. Advertising expenditures gone down because now they are getting word of mouth referral,
Mm.
and customer satisfaction, because that's one of the criteria we do is we actually do customer survey on product services and all.
Okay.
So when we did that, we found customers were extremely satisfied with the products and with the service aspect. And they actually become a brand ambassador, all these customers. So they started referring, and eventually that turned out to be what you call a blessing in disguise, whatever you call it. But eventually, when
Right.
we analyzed end of the year, the balance sheet and profit and loss account, so it was actually very healthy.
It
And
was
those
very
healthy
healthy.
balance sheet actually helped them in expanding their companies. So they
Okay.
started putting multiple manufacturing, units.
So you actually answered my next question. My next question was going to be, what happens if companies ignore, following ISO standards? So I think you answered partly, or at least,
Yeah.
you answered a lot of that. So, but I'll still ask you, because there could be other things that companies miss out when they
Hmm.
fail or they don't implement ISO standards rigorously. So what are the downsides of not implementing ISO?
See, ISO standards take a very larger view.
Okay.
So I can give a very good case studies. For
Sure.
example, if you look into the food industry,
Right.
uh, McDonald. So McDonald every 3 hours they open one new franchise in the
Right.
world. Okay. And actually, if you ask to people, to general people, no one remembers who is the owner of McDonald,
Right.
or no one remember who is the chef in McDonald, right? Or who are the
Correct.
key staff running McDonald.
Right.
Okay. Because McDonald is run on processes, systems and processes, which is laid on by ISO standards. Okay.
Yeah.
So the company who has actually adopted process approach in their business, they are grown. So McDonald is one example. You can also look at Eureka Fox.
Right.
Eureka Fox came into India, and very short span of time they were spread it all over India. So they actually captured market share.
Hmm.
Okay. On the second hand, if you look at some of the cooperative banks, whenever you let's say you are having account in a cooperative bank. So if you go to one of their branches, you can get all the details. But if you go to their some other branches, your details may not be available, or misplaced or something like that.
Right.
Why this happened? Because they lack processes and systems. Okay.
Okay.
But very successful bank like ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, HSBC Bank, they have processes and systems in place, which are
Right.
nothing but ISO standards, because ISO standards has given them all these processes.
Okay.
Okay. Even if you look into the to the sports activities today,
Mm-hmm.
the one of the world's best bowler, was McGrath. So
Okay.
actually, he was taught on the process. How much you have to jump, at what angle you have to put the ball, where your ball should fall on the crease, and at what degree it should take the turn. And
Okay.
accordingly, the fielding was set, right? So what McGrath was doing was he was following the process, which was helping him to get wickets, right? So, and he
Okay.
was the most successful bowlers. So all this process approach has actually come from ISO standards, and
I see.
whoever follows, they are the successful.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So, in your experience, how easy or difficult is it today, in today's day and age, to convince people to opt for ISO standards?
That's a very interesting question, because
Because from what you're
what,
saying, it seems like everybody should do it, right? I mean, it sounds like common
right,
sense. But
right.
is it really, is common sense really common? I mean, do people really want to opt for it, or is it still a difficult task to get them to agree to do ISO implementation?
Right, right. So, Vipul, thanks for bringing this question. This is a very interesting question,
Yeah.
and I'll really love to answer this. We have been working with many foreign companies, right?
Right.
So, uh, the companies, specifically the companies from the US, who want to set up their operation in India.
Right.
So, right now, either they will set up their operation on their own, or they will look for the existing infrastructure available in our country, and try to collaborate with them. So that's the approach they have taken. So in our experience, we have been working with many American companies who are trying to set up their offices in India, or trying to set up their manufacturing facilities in India, and mostly through the collaboration model they want to put it. But before they sign memorandum of understanding, they are given clear instruction to the manufacturers in India that you have to comply with ISO standards. They are given few names also. For example, they want companies to comply on ISO 900 standard, which is quality management systems. They want them to comply on ISO 14001, which is environmental management. 45001 is another standard which is more on the safety aspect of the workers. And also there are some business continuity management. So there are various standards they want them to comply. And unless and until they are not complying, and unless and until they are not getting audited from the US appointed auditors, they can't sign memorandum of understanding.
Oh,
So
okay.
we are blessed to work with many manufacturers in India, and we are help them to comply with ISO standards and help
Okay.
them to pass those audit requirements. So today they
Okay.
are doing very well, and in fact, probably I can say like those products are going to now multiple countries.
Okay. Okay. So actually having those standards is, helping companies to, get business relationships outside.
Right,
Okay. Okay.
right. Right. So second aspect, I'll
Sure.
say one is this manufacturing industry. Second, uh, our country is very good with the compliances part,
Hmm.
and we are religiously complying to the requirements of the standards. So you'll see many pharmaceutical companies, they do have manufacturing facilities in India after Europe and US, right?
Okay.
So many of them are here. Why they are here? Because our government or who are the authorities, they are ensuring that we are following standards, right? So pharmaceutical, they have to strictly follow ISO 13485 standards, and our authorities is ensuring they are following those standards. Second, RBI. So whoever is dealing with banking industry today, so
Hmm.
RBI has mandated those companies who are dealing with banks, they have to compulsory comply with ISO 27001 standard, which is known as Information Security Management Systems.
Okay.
Okay. And unless until you don't comply with those requirements, because RBI auditors comes and audit your premises and your processes and all. So if you are not complying, you can't deal with banks, you can't deal with RBIs. You will be out of business.
Okay.
So we work with many banking software companies, okay, and we do face RBI audits also. So we know how they are very strict and to the point on emphasizing on the standard requirements and all.
Okay. Interesting. So, apart from, I mean, this is of course about being able to do business in other parts of the world. But let's say some company wants to become a global leader, let's say in some certain area, I mean, not just compete, but to be able to win in global markets. Does ISO play a role in it? I mean, how and how? I mean, in your experience, how does uh,
Okay,
how does that happen?
okay. So yeah. So let's take for example, let's take okay. We'll just make an assumption. Let's take Vipul, you start a company.
Right.
Let's assume, okay, and by God bless, you are expanding your operation. Now you have an opportunity to put your plant in USA
Right.
and Europe. Let's say, for example, okay. Now, as a managing director of your firm, how you can control what is happening in Europe or what is happening in US? How you can control?
Yeah. So
I'm
I'll have
just
to.
asking one question.
Yeah, so you'll have to comply with the standards that exist in that part of the world, right? I mean,
Right. So the easiest way is what I'll do is I'll put processes as per the standard requirement in India,
correct.
and I'll try to replicate those same processes in Europe and US companies, right? So
Mhm.
what will happen is my India company is running on the same standard, same processes. My US firm is also now running on the same process and same standards, right?
Okay.
And the output of those processes will be my dashboard or will be our report generation systems. So I can easily come to know what has happened in US today, what has happened in Europe, okay?
Okay.
How many products I have been able to dispatch, how many products I have been able to manufacture, what were the rejections today, what were the losses today, you know. So all the things comes on my dashboard, right?
Okay.
So this is the beauty of standardization. So what I'm doing is I'm making my operation a standardized one. So whichever part of the world I do business, I know it will be run with the same standard, with the same process approach.
Okay.
And that's the beauty.
Okay. So the process standard that is set is globally benchmarked. I mean, these are globally
Right,
benchmark standards, right? Okay.
right. Yeah.
Okay. So now I have a question on business networking for you, Parag. I mean,
Huh.
for people who have just joined, Parag and I are part of the same BNI chapter, and he is a very active networker. He's been a BNI member for many, many years now. So if you can tell me, Parag, how has business networking helped you in your business?
So business networking helps me very much, Vipul. Since my business, I come from the concept industry.
Correct.
People actually don't know, how the standards work, and all,
Right.
right? So what happens is, uh, it actually, my business is based on word of mouth
Right.
publicity, and the people who are referring me have actually experienced my services.
Hmm.
So they know me, because of my services, they were able to improve their bottom line and improve their top lines. So,
Right.
for example, we studied in detail and we are able to, do the cost optimization. That is number one. And
Okay.
second, also we have been because of process improvements,
Hmm.
they were able to satisfy their customers and their business has grown up tremendously. So all those customers who has actually utilized my services, they were able to refer me to their contact sphere. That's how my business has grown
Okay.
till date, right?
Hmm.
And that's how the network helps for me. So what happens is when I go and talk to the audiences, because I do talk at various forums on my services, so that helps me to grow my network and help me to get more, brand ambassador for my services and all.
Oh, super. And how long has it been that you've been part of BNI now, or any business networking? I mean, how long have you been doing that for your company?
I started Credos Consultant in the year 2005,
Okay.
and that was the year I joined BNI.
Oh, okay.
So BNI has
Almost 20
split,
years then.
yeah, yeah. So BNI was very fantastic experience for me, and actually, what I'm today is I'll give 100% credit to BNI.
Oh, fantastic.
Right? And
Oh,
till date, I'm in touch with my 2005
five batch
friends,
as such. Okay.
yeah, batchmates. They still recommend me to their contact
That's really
spheres,
great.
and today also, I get good referrals from BNI networks and all.
Okay. Okay.
So networking forums always plays important role, and I can vouch for BNI.
Mm.
There is no competition for it.
There's no competition. Okay. Question here again to you is, let's say there's a young professional who's, let's say, just like you, decides that he wants to start his own business. Okay, what would be your recommendation to him or her about business networking? What would you recommend out of after your experience?
No, whoever wants to get into the business, I'll recommend them to join platforms like BNI. That is number one.
Right.
Because what happens is once you join platforms like BNI, you come across people from diverse industries with
Right.
diverse experience. That is number one. And it all matters, because we are always in our own world. We don't
Mm.
know what is happening in the other world. So first of all, it's a knowledge sharing session. We understand with a lot of experiences and all. And I don't want to name a person, uh, but I learned a lot of things from him. He was quite senior to us. And he had one of the major incident in his factory. His factory was totally burned.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he didn't had insurance, so he couldn't claim that money. But after going through that incident, also he was so positive and he was taken in such a positive way. So that was an inspiration for us.
Okay.
So whatever the hurdles you come across in your life, or whatever the what are the difficulties you face, I actually learned from him that, whatever comes, face in a very positive manners
Right.
because everything is temporary.
Yeah, but
So
okay. Superb,
there's
superb.
a big learning I'm taking from this networking forums, from others'
Right. So not
experience.
just business, there's a lot you learn about life as such, right? I mean, when you
Absolutely, absolutely.
superb. So you know what, 20 years of Credos Consultants? And
Yeah.
so what's your vision for the next 20 years, if I may ask you?
Uh,
So you're
very
already in
interesting
Mumbai,
question.
you're already there in India and Dubai, right? So in the
Right,
next
right, right.
20 years, where do we see Credos? Which parts of the world do we see you?
Very, very interesting question, and actually you touch me. Um, I am seeing Credos has a lot of opportunities. I actually see for Indian companies many opportunities are coming up. Many companies from abroad wants to collaborate with our Indian companies. So a lot of opportunities are getting up. Now, what I foresee is Credos getting it on a global platform.
Right,
So not only Credos operates from India, but I see Credos having offices in Middle East, having offices in Europe,
right.
okay, in Australia. So it can be a very global firm. That's what I'm looking at now. And to
Fantastic,
answer your question, I already started on that platform, working on those visions. Started taking some actions also, and
fantastic.
very soon you can have some good news coming on that front.
Fantastic. That's great. Great to hear, Parag. And I would like to thank you for your generosity of the time that you've given us and to answer. I know how busy your schedule is. I know you're in the middle of an audit, and in spite of all that, you made time to come on to this podcast today and answer all our questions. I thank you on behalf of the entire Thinkly team and myself for sparing the time and making it and answering all those questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Vipul. Thank you, entire team. It was indeed pleasure talking to you and sharing my experiences. Thank you very much.